Welcome to Meet the Member, a podcast from the Equipment and Tool Institute. In this series, we sit down with ETI members from across the automotive tool and equipment industry to learn more about who they are, what they do, and the role they play in supporting vehicle repair around the world. From diagnostics and equipment to software, training and innovation, these conversations shine a light on the people behind the products and services that keep workshops moving. I'm Winston Lee, MD of ETI in Europe and Interim Executive Director in the US, and in each episode I'll be meeting with members to hear their stories, their journeys and their perspectives on our industry. Let's get started. Hello everyone, and this is our second Meet the Member podcast for ETI. So it's great to be here, E-XTEQ, Canton, Michigan, and hello to Greg, Sales Director, Erion, President, and Ermal, Product Manager.
Welcome. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. So Greg, you've spent nearly 4 decades in automotive and the manufacturing world. So how did you get into the industry and what's kept you here?
Yeah, great question. Well, I was born in Detroit. I was actually born in downtown Detroit, and I've lived in the suburbs my whole life here. But my grandfather, my father, my uncles, they all worked in the automotive industry. My dad would come home and say, "Thank Ford Motor for dinner tonight." So I kind of grew up in it. And in between my first year of college, my dad had a friend that owned an electrical panel shop that made electrical panels for the machine tool industry. And he got me a job, and I spent 9 years there. And I eventually got into sales with that company, and I've been in sales ever since. Touched a little bit of every part of the car, selling everything on the car, and I love cars. It's amazing to see how everything has become so much more reliable on cars. But once you're in the industry, it's very hard to get out.
Yeah,
being in Detroit.
Yeah, I imagine so. Yeah. So was that sales in parts and accessories, or?
I've sold all the powertrain components from a machining standpoint. So your engine, blocks, heads, cams, cranks, automatic transmission parts, axle parts. I sold all the machining portion. So I sold CNC equipment right to the car plants over most of my career.
Right. Okay. You'd have seen lots of shifts in technology then.
I've seen a lot of shifts in technology.
So when you compare electrification to previous changes, what's different? Well,
what I will compare it to is the automatic transmission to the EV vehicle today. When I saw the biggest shift in the industry is when we went to a 6-speed, a 7-speed, and a 10-speed transmission. Mm-hmm. It was a big deal, and completely different transmission. And one thing I saw was they rolled those out, and dealerships aftermarket knew how to work on them. They gave all the knowledge to work on them up front. And what I see in the EV vehicles now is a little different, a little struggle. I think they still put the cart in front of the horse. Mm-hmm. And I think even the OEMs are struggling when it comes to working on them, when they're going to have to work on them. Right now, most all OEMs drop and replace if they decide the battery pack is bad in a dealership. Mm-hmm. And it's very expensive. They're $40,000.
Yeah.
So when you're dropping and replacing them and putting them into a warehouse and you don't know the state of charge or health they're in, and they're sitting there, it's a big deal. So I do see where we still need a lot of training and service tools that need to come out so dealerships, aftermarket technicians can start to work on these packs.
Yeah. So I guess it's a bit of a similar thing when DSG became a thing and people didn't really know what to do with them, and now, it's become something that the aftermarket and what have you have come up with solutions to enable those guys and girls to repair those things. Mm-hmm. Okay, so what drew you to E-XTEQ, and what was the opportunity that you saw when you joined?
Well, the 12-volt battery plays a huge part of repairing vehicles. E-XTEQ has and had when I joined March 1st will be 6 years ago. We have a new approach with new technology and diagnostics for the battery chemistry.
Yeah.
Full line of chargers and testers that the OEMs use to assure the customer's satisfaction, driving around with that healthy, reliable battery. So our tools are up to the times right now as we sit here. Also, I saw the future of EV battery packs, and we have a full line of chargers, dischargers, and module balancers, and a leak testing tool that we can work on the battery pack. And 6 years ago, we thought this was going to be a lot further than we are now.
Yeah.
But the good news is we have these tools, and they are starting to be used. But really, it was new for me, the battery industry. But what was good is I had called on OEMs my whole life. So continuing to call on the OEM, it's the same process, because we started out and we wanted to try to get as many essential tools, programs with OEMs as we could.
Yeah.
And we've been successful. So that part was very easy for me.
And also another thing that I would like to add is more of the E-XTEQ culture of what we bring and how we were able to bring all these product portfolio that we have. We worked on them for years to make sure that all of our product was designed based on the feedback that we got directly from the dealers, directly from repair service centers or shops that are actually doing the job every day. And we wanted to make something completely different to actually help them out instead of making another battery tester or charger. E-XTEQ focuses a lot when it comes down to how we can help the technician, because it's it's in our culture that we not just selling the product, but designing the product, how we support our customers, partners, and how we can take it to the next level. It's very important for the E-XTEQ group, and that's what we do. And obviously, with the team that we have, we come every day happy. We love what we do, and that's what triggers us to continue even, helping everyone out that needs to work with us. Or even if we get many phone calls, many dealerships that they call us and we help them out in certain cases that they have going on. So the whole idea is how we can help them to make their job easier.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was going to say that, the people that don't know of E-XTEQ, what do you do? And, beyond battery tools, what have you got that's new and interesting for people to hear about?
Well, answering this question, I think one thing I do want to say is we are a solution provider. We've been in a scenario where we had OEMs and customers come to us with our technology, and can you make this type of diagnostic charger or battery tester? And we've been successful in doing that. With all the different chemistries out there on 12-volt batteries, you have to be able to adapt and build and have software to not only diagnose them, but be able to charge them and maintain them. A lot of our charger maintainers are used for reflashing now, both in as you have to do a reprogram when you've done something to the vehicle, or while you're just working on the car all day, has the key on most of the time because all the modules are running. Our maintainers have power supplies in them, and they run and turn on and off, and they're fully automatic.
Yeah.
And they're also used in the ADAS alignment, as sometimes that process takes up to 4 hours with the key on. Yeah. We have our battery charger maintainers that they use when they're doing ADAS alignments.
Yeah, yeah.
But we have both types of technology and solution providing both on ICE and EV batteries.
Mm-hmm. And when we were looking at the products before, we were talking about pressure as well.
We do. We do have outside the battery charging and testing. We do have a leak tester. Mm-hmm. It has many years of engineering and technology through another group of ours, and we made that a dealership design tool that leak tests both the cooling system in the battery pack and the housing. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to make the decision to open that pack up, when you close it or even before you open it, you want to see if it was sealed. Our leak tester does that test, and then as you're working on the pack, and even if there's issues, you don't have to drop the pack to do a leak test on the cooling system.
Yeah.
To see if that's compromised, because that cooling system is a very important process of that EV battery because they get so hot.
Mm. Okay. So it's almost like a pre and post scan tool test.
It is, and it's going to become very important as time goes on, as more vehicles get out there, and as EVs are sold as used cars. Everyone's going to want to know the integrity of that cooling system and that housing, so nothing gets inside the pack.
Well, it's kind of like the TPMS. At one point, it was a feature of luxury feature that, oh, wow, this vehicle shows the tire pressure monitoring system of the tire, how much is inflated or deflated. And then it became mandated by law that, we have to
have the system.
You have to have the system to work. Mm-hmm. And eventually, I see the same thing happening with the EV battery packs because of not just how expensive they are, but also how important the safety portion is going to be, because now we're talking about technicians. They need to work with this high voltage, and they all have to be certified to be able to work on these vehicles. And on top of that, they have to make sure that before they touch this vehicle, they have to make sure that it's safe to touch it before they drop the battery pack and work on it. So a lot of these tools, that's where we are focusing on, to be able, not just from the how quick we can do the job, but also the safety portion is one of our biggest concerns because of who's going to work on it. We have to make sure that they know how to do it. And training is basically number one when it comes down to electric vehicles. From the leak testing point of view to bonding testers to make sure that the safety of the battery pack it's not shorted out in the meantime.
It's grounded properly.
To make sure that before they drop it down to work on it, everything is safe. There is a whole procedure of how we have to do it in order to be able to get the job done properly, and everything has to be traced.
Yeah.
So that when the vehicle is completed, when it goes out, they the dealer or whoever, whatever shop is working on the vehicle has that data saved in their computer or in the cloud-based system to where they can, if the vehicle comes back, they have a full procedure of what was done in that vehicle.
Yeah.
So when Greg said that we provide solutions, it's not just battery tools. It's anything and everything that has to do with the 12-volt and the EV, including the safety features as well, and everything that you need to make sure that you're safe and that you're able to charge and discharge these battery packs safely and correctly.
Yeah, the high voltage. A technician, there's a lot of safety features before they decide to disconnect high voltage EV battery packs.
Yeah. And just as importantly, I guess, when you put it all back together, knowing that you're delivering it back to the customer, that it's all back together properly. So batteries have become one of the most talked about components in modern vehicles. And so from your perspective, what do people often misunderstand about battery health and testing?
For the misunderstanding also comes with the way that the reading is shown, right? So in a state of health situation, you go to the shop and they show you the receipt that says 50% state of health. And the 50% does not mean that it has 50% life left into the battery. It means that it's able to provide 50% of its original power. So that's one of the major misconceptions of battery testing, is what we're actually displaying on there and how the user or the driver is interpreting this information. But also the behavior. How is the battery going to behave under load? How old is the battery? How has it been kept up? Has it been kept charged, or has it been drained a lot? And everything from it. But I think the biggest thing is just what we see as far as state of health, and then also state of charge, because you could have a fully charged battery, but also at 50% capacity.
Yeah. So diagnostics compared with the simple replacing of the component is obviously an important part of that.
Right. So if a battery is, of course, beyond its age, right, 5, 6, 7 years into the life cycle, and you're replacing the battery, that battery's just lived out its life. But if you're replacing a battery that's, depending on the opinion of some people, too quickly, then you would have to go deeper into the diagnostic portions. Why is this battery getting discharged?
Yeah.
Why is this battery going so low? And why are we coming up with a bad battery so quickly into its life? So we have to go deeper into the diagnostics to make sure that there's no other draws on it, there's no shortages, anything else that inside the vehicle that's making this battery drop so quickly. So that's the biggest thing that they need to do, depending on when this battery is being replaced.
Yeah. And I guess from a warranty point of view, from manufacturers, I guess that's one of the worst things is getting a battery back with, effectively, it's a passive component, isn't it? So it's a no fault found, but why? Where do chargers, testers, and module balancing really fit into that picture then?
So on the EV side, there is also a 12-volt battery in an EV vehicle that's powering all the electronics, everything. So chargers, testers, they're going to stay here for, doesn't matter where the vehicle is heading, whether it's in the direction with keeping going with the ICE vehicles versus EV vehicles, a charger and a diagnostic tool is still going to be important. Because of that 12-volt battery. And then on the EV side, module balancing, once you open up that battery pack, you determine which module is bad. Adding that new module in there, you have to make sure that module is at the same voltage level as the other modules so the battery can function properly. So there's not one cell that's getting charged higher than the rest and throwing everything out of proportion. So for us, the testing provides the current status, and then you do need all three things, along with a full battery pack, charger, discharger outside of the vehicle, moving forward, how everything is going.
And do you see that there's going to be a move away from wet AGM, EFB batteries into lithium-ion for the auxiliary battery, or?
There is a shift right now. Some OEMs are going into lithium-ion for their 12-volt batteries. Of course, it's a lot more expensive for the moment, but it is a lot lighter, and it could provide a longer life. I'm not sure if flooded and AGM batteries are going to go away anytime soon.
No. I mean, there's a legacy of vehicles on the road, isn't there? So these things are going to be there and required for a long time coming. So how does being involved with ETI help E-XTEQ as a business, and particularly when you're trying to balance the OEM expectations and the reality of the aftermarket?
Where ETI helps us out really is the three conferences are a little different, each one, but I'll take Tool Tech as example. We get to see what we really like about it is we get to see the OEM, we get to see the aftermarket customer, we get to see the Bosches, the Snap-ons, all in one conference. And that's all the different players that we deal with every day.
And one of the other things is the what I said earlier, the hearing the information directly from the field. We also get to hear aftermarket shops, owners that come and they share their thoughts and they share their knowledge of different repairs that they have to go through and what they run into, and how we as companies like E-XTEQ, how can we support these guys when they run into these type of issues. We get, and that's where ETI has been very helpful for us, because instead of us going to the dealerships direct, that's where we get to hear that information as well. And hearing that information makes us better of how we can support these guys in the future.
Yeah, it helps. It helps. We kind of work with OEMs. We design our tools with them, with their specs and parameters. They're all different. Each OEM might look at a battery and diagnosing it different. But one thing for ETI is they bring both OEM and aftermarket together, and they allow the aftermarket guy to ask the OEM questions. And it helps everybody out. The aftermarket shop is trying to, do the same as a dealership, and with all the right information and the support from the OEM, they can do that. And now we get into all the rights of this and that, but ETI definitely brings that together, and we learn from seeing both of them interact together.
So, obviously you've worked closely with many of the OEMs over the years, and how do you think they're tackling the battery testing and validation today?
They take it very seriously, actually. So in a 12-volt battery on a brand new car, it's either second or third on their warranty. Yeah, the highest warranty claim they have. So our machine and the diagnostic battery chargers that are out there right now do a very deep dive into that chemistry to make sure that battery is good. So when it leaves with the customer, they have that confidence. But also, if it is a bad battery, they want to get their money back from the manufacturer of the battery. Yeah. So it's very important, and they take it very serious.
Yeah. So, obviously, in storage and what have you, battery maintenance is very important.
The battery must stay charged, even in storage, and you need to make sure that the battery's been charged enough and keep it charged throughout the life of its battery, even in storage.
So, do you think the OEM's expectations are changing as vehicles age and move further into the aftermarket? And how do you see those OEMs expecting battery diagnostics to be handled over that life of a vehicle?
OEM's expectations are changing. Of course, moving into as the life of the battery goes on, once it's out of warranty from the dealership perspective, they do expect the aftermarket to handle it like the OEMs do as well. They wanted to extend into the aftermarket, and they want to use OEM level discipline.
Yeah.
But also sometimes, not on the 12-volt side, but on the EV side, everything's not always readily available for the aftermarket as well. So that's also another difficulty that.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that we talked about, I think you were on the vertical group, about the availability of fitment information and what have you, and that's a critical part of understanding, obviously, what you're replacing. If you're replacing like for like, what you're replacing the like with might not have been the right one in the first place. So what do you think OEMs sometimes assume that the aftermarket can already do, but perhaps can't?
They assume that the tools and the training and all the safety procedures are already in place at the aftermarket portion or in the aftermarket support, but in reality, the aftermarket does need some structured support from the OEMs with procedures, availability to diagnostic scan tools, and the availability to talk to the battery pack to make sure that they're getting the same level of support as you would on the OEM side. So especially the training and the safety procedures is one of the biggest things that needs to be more readily available for the aftermarkets as well.
Yeah. Okay.
And also the safety procedure, the fundamentals are there, but because it's an electric vehicle and you're talking about 800 volt, 900 volt battery pack, obviously this is more critical because there's not many aftermarket shops out there that will be able to work with different battery packs. And the reason why I say that is, as of today, whatever OEM there is, they have different connectors. They have different thresholds within the battery pack that the aftermarket still does not have the knowledge of what that battery pack consists of. Not as far as power, but also as far as, working on this battery pack. Where do I find the connectors? Because for example, when we work with an OEM, they provide us with different specifics, and then we have to provide the correct connectors. But then there is another OEM that the connectors are not the same. So we have to provide different connectors for those guys. So if you look at the aftermarket point of view, they're going to have to end up with so many different connectors for individual customer or OEM, that depending on how many different connectors they have for their battery packs. And every vehicle they have, it's a different connector for each.
Yeah.
So it's going to be, I think, a very good topic of how you train the aftermarket, but also how to get all these different type of connectors to be able to work with different OEM manufacturers. So it's...
Yeah, I mean, I was going to talk about the readiness and how do you see the independent aftermarket for advanced diagnostics? How ready are they? And I suppose that also includes, a breadth of things, either the challenge of technology, the training, the safety, the confidence in being able to perform that job.
So a lot of the technicians today, and I talk with many people, many shops, many dealers, aftermarket OEM. It's to them, when you talk to an OEM, they talk with what they have going on with their own battery packs. But when you talk with an aftermarket, they are still in a question mark, to where we still have a lot of questions of how you repair them. But it's not, and like I said, it's not just the repair portion. It's about where do we go next? Because it's a whole set of tools that the aftermarket shops have to invest in. Mm-hmm. And not just the tools, but then it becomes a safety where all their technicians have to be certified to be able to work with these battery packs. and they have to make sure that before they touch this vehicle, drop the battery pack down, they have to make sure that they are capable of working with this type of battery packs or vehicles in order for them to get the job done. So there's still a lot to learn from the aftermarket point of view because it's new. The safety fundamentals when it comes down to 12 volts and, engines and everything, there's the safety is there. But because it's something completely new to the market, they're still trying to learn. And I think that we have to provide a lot more training to these aftermarket shops to where we have to make their job easier when it comes down to when they receive these vehicles and what is the status of this vehicle. If I'm on the road and I don't have a dealership near me, how can an aftermarket shop that it's right next to me, how can they, what can they do for me? So that's the point of view that's how they would like to treat these EV vehicles.
Yeah.
So the willingness is there from the aftermarket. Yeah.
So what you're saying is that to make it safe and commercially viable is a big fundamental part of that is the training.
Of course.
Yeah.
Training is going to be key to be able to work on these vehicles.
So going back to Greg then, you've worked with engineers, technicians and sales teams your whole career, and how are the skills required today different from when you started?
I would say actually they're the exact same. The same preparation is needed, whether it's a trade school or hands-on training, it's all training. The only difference is the technology. It is so advanced now, and you need to learn. And same education as 30 years ago. You need to have that training, education, and hands-on, and love it.
Yeah, loving it, and that's an important part.
Yes,
yeah, having the drive. So, what advice would you give someone entering the industry right now, when workshops are having to deal with all of these changes, and the traditional ICE vehicles through to ADAS, hybrids, EVs, all of this is going on at the same time? Yeah,
if I was going to give one suggestion, I would probably focus on one of these new technologies. And specialize in it, whether it's ADAS, with all the cameras now that are on vehicles, there's a lot of time that it takes to do one alignment, 4 to 6 hours. So you're doing maybe 2 a day, if not 1 a day. So it's a specialty, and you should probably focus on that. The same with the EVs, whether it's a hybrid or a full EV vehicle, it's a specialty. And I would suggest that they pick a specialty and maybe go after that technology as being from moving forward.
Okay.
Because you're going to need them. Every dealership, every aftermarket guy are looking for trained specialists that can do ADAS alignment or work on the EV pack. So I would I'd pick a specialty and get trained in it and try to at least have that under your belt.
Yeah, okay. So when we got here, we were just sort of talking earlier, weren't we, about your history with ETI and attendance. So you are a regular at our events like ToolTech, and from your perspective, what do you personally get out of attending the events that we run?
I think we talked about it earlier, but it's the combo of the OEMs and the aftermarket shops, and your Snap-on and your Bosches and your distributors, all at one event, and all having conversation about the repair business in general. Everyone getting the OEM side and what the OEM, how they do it and their procedures, how the aftermarket and the shops have to do their best to follow that. ETI provides all that for all these organizations under one roof. And you guys also, ETI also supports the aftermarket with that OEM information. So we get all sides of it in one show. So it's a win-win for us.
And is there something specific about the way that we structure our events that is different to others?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's the networking time. Over the years, you get to know everyone. So I'm 6 years in, and I feel like I finally, when I show up, I know what everybody does. I know what their specialty might be. I know when it's time that I might be able to help them because I've known them now, and I finally maybe a project's come up where I can discuss it with them because I know what they do. It helps us a little bit on Tool Tech that we get to talk to all the OEMs for the 20-minute sessions. It saves us it does save us a lot of money because I'd have to travel to each one of those OEMs in California and Texas. And right out of the chute in the first quarter, I'm seeing all my customers. If they're not my customers, I'm getting an opportunity to see an OEM to show them our latest and greatest stuff. Mm-hmm. Big benefit for us is the 20-minute sessions with the OEMs. And it's worked out for us very well.
Yeah.
And just the networking and the casual networking, I think, is very good too. You get to know people.
Yeah.
And it makes it just a little more relaxed, and you can almost kind of speak your mind a little better when you know people good,
Everything helps when it comes down to different point of views.
Yeah.
In those meetings, and networking with everyone that's where you get the most information out of, because we all run into some sort of issues or different point of views that we share, and I shared something and Greg shared something different, and we come up with a solution, and that's how the automotive industry, I think, has been working out very well because of the networking and communicating everything.
Yeah. I also think everyone that attends the ETI and all the folks that have been going for years and know each other, I think they hold high respect for each other. Mm-hmm. You can see that. And I like that part as well.
Yeah, I mean, you touched on it. The way that there's this camaraderie between, effectively competitors. And the ability to help each other out. And, there are opportunities between members, aren't there, that we see?
We have competitors there. So
yeah.
It's at the end of the day, when you think about it, everyone has competitors. So
yeah.
You got to learn to, deal with it and hopefully learn from it. And,
yeah.
But hold that level of respect.
Yeah, exactly. Looking sort of 3 to 5 years ahead, what do you think will define the success in battery diagnostics?
Quality tools with the elite technology, I think, is where the future's going. As the battery packs get more, as EVs get more and more on the road, and we get to 2030, you're going to need to work on them. You're going to need to know how to diagnose them and spend the least amount of time fixing them because they're very expensive, these battery packs. So you're going to need some really good quality tools and the technology and the software. And fair pricing eventually, because the aftermarket is going to probably have issues with the price of tools because they're going to want to work on it just the same. Mm. And so we've got to, and as the future goes, we got to concentrate on this price of tools, but it's going to be coming down to the quality and the technology.
So what excites you most about where E-XTEQ is heading?
Well, we have been focused on the OEM base and have developed updated high-tech chargers, testers for them, and now we're E-XTEQ. We're entering the aftermarket, and it's very exciting to us. We're gonna have a lot of new tools, and we're gonna make those tools with our technology, but at the price that all the shops can afford, and have that opportunity to have a little, maybe higher tech tool, quality tool, but at the price that they're comfortable with and they can afford.
Yeah.
Give them that opportunity. That's what I see us. I'm definitely looking forward to our aftermarket adventures.
So finally, is there one thing that you'd like the wider industry to better understand about battery testing?
I'll go. I think maybe
It's a joint question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, but it's how important the testing and diagnostics are. The 12-volt, the EV batteries, really from all aspects, defining a good battery versus a bad battery and saving the customer the frustration. Is the battery good and dependable? Is the biggest component, and the diagnostic part and a good diagnostic tool can save a lot of time, headache, customer satisfaction, money. Very important, like I was saying earlier. The OEM takes the battery, 12-volt battery, very seriously. And as we sit here today, a car, in some cases, might have 100 different modules running in the background. So it plays a huge part of vehicles now as well.
Yeah.
So testing it and diagnosing it correctly is one of the most important things, but also the maintenance of it too. Maintaining that battery throughout its life is one of the best things that you can do at the dealership level as a owner of the vehicle, making sure that battery stays charged and goes through that cycle is one of the most important things that you can do.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Thanks for
Thank you.
inviting us to your lovely podcast suite.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. We're very happy.
Yeah, thank you.
We are glad to be part of this and to share a little bit about E-XTEQ and and how actually ETI has been so positive towards us, and we're very glad, happy to be part of this. So thank you.
Yeah, great. Well, we look forward to seeing you in April.
Yes, can't wait.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Meet the Member, a podcast from the Equipment and Tool Institute. I hope you've enjoyed getting to know more about today's guest and the work they do within our industry. If you'd like to find out more about ETI, our members, or future episodes in this series, please visit our website or follow us on LinkedIn. I'm Winston Lee, and thanks again for listening.